Hi, teacher.
Hello.
Hi.
Well, guys, once again, good evening. Welcome to our session. We are about to finish our third cycle. Well, while your other classmates arrive, let's say extra information, some general aspects. First of all, I thought I had it open. I already made the adjustments for the final speaking. When I say adjustments, I'm talking about how you will be organized. That's more like my point. Some of you didn't write your name, and as I told you, if your name is not written, then I am going to organize you. What I did was to put the names at random. That was all. Of course, for the ones that didn't put their names. The ones that put their names, don't worry. Of course, I respected how you organized among yourselves. Anyway, remember that, let's say that on Monday is going to be like the official information, keeping in mind that we have the speaking part on Tuesday. So I will send you an image. Anyway, you can have access to the link. You can't edit it anymore. I told you that the last chance, let's put it like that, to edit it was last night. There were some changes, but as I told you, if you don't edit it, then I am going to put the names. Well, for the ones that arrived a few seconds ago, I just put the names at random, like put this name and put it like this. I didn't even pay attention to that. Anyway, keep in mind that the grades are individual. That's important thing to remember. So of course you can access to the link, you can have a look at the chart, but you can't make any additions. That would be it. And I just wanted to share that part in case that you said, oh, I forgot to put my name. Yes, you forgot to put your name. I already organized you, let's say randomly. That was randomly. I didn't think or took into account other aspects. Just there is a space, I'm gonna put the name. That's it. For the ones that have just arrived, I was just letting you know that the speaking assignment in terms of the organization was already done. So actually, I know that there is not new information for you. Yes, John, tell me, you raise your hand.
Teacher, you mentioned before, or you said that the speaking assignment was organized randomly because I was supposed to work with any other guy.
Well, John, I'm sorry. Because as I was telling you, no, I mean, your name wasn't there. I mean, all the...
Why? I'm
your name wasn't there.
surprised because I'm pretty sure that my partner wrote it down.
Maybe talk to him
At
because
least,
I don't know the person you were.
He deleted it.
Sorry. Sorry, John. Yeah, that is why yesterday I told you, okay, guys, don't forget to type your name because, well, I need to to organize it. And to this morning, no, actually, it was in the afternoon. I made the adjustment. There were like around 6 people that didn't write their names. So I had to do it. And maybe your classmate forgot to do it. Sorry, Jenny. That happens.
Teacher,
Never mind, teacher.
Okay. Yes, Natalie.
you apply the speaking in order of the groups or randomly?
I usually do it randomly, but unless there is like a special situation, like in the previous cycle, someone said, okay, I have something special. That's the reason why I need to go first. Of course, I ask the coordinator, but usually it's at random. Just in
Okay.
this part, like the numbers is like for me to know how many groups we have in the class. But usually I go at random.
Okay, teacher, thank you.
Okay, Natalie. Guys, any other question? Okay, let's go back to the presentation. I'm going to take attendance and then we are free to work on our unit 12. We're like about to finish that part. Well, I'm gonna turn this off while I try to read the names here on the list. Saray Acevedo.
Present, teacher.
Okay. Andres Alvarez. Not here for the moment. Joelia Ayala.
Present.
Okay. Andrea Vaca.
Present, teacher.
Okay. Gilbert Cárdenas.
Present.
Okay. John Carrero.
Here I am, teacher.
Okay. Brian Cordero.
Here I am, teacher.
Okay. Stephanie Córdoba.
Present, teacher.
Okay. Silvia Alejandra Durán.
Present, teacher.
Juelisette Liscano. Well, Judy is not here. What
Teacher,
is it?
can you hear me?
Now I do, Judy. Now I do.
Thank you, teacher. I'm here. Sorry.
Don't worry. Diana Lisette Lozada. Not here. Okay. Luisa Fernanda Paredes.
Present, teacher.
Okay. Luisa Fernanda Pérez.
Present, teacher.
Okay. Mayra Juliet Pinzón.
Present, teacher.
Good. Mayra Alejandra Plata.
Present, teacher.
Okay. Harold David Rodríguez. Well, Harold is not here for the moment. Angélica Stephanie Sandoval.
Hi, teacher. I'm here.
Hi. Yeah, Daniela Fernanda Sierra.
Hi, teacher.
Hi, Daniela. Ana María Velasco.
Hi, teacher.
There you are. Jennifer Jimena Pera.
Here, teacher.
Okay. Natalie Joana Pérez.
Here, teacher.
Okay. Natalie Joana Pérez, ya me dijo que es. Cristian Albarracín.
Here, teacher.
Okay. And Daniela Lozada.
Present, teacher.
Okay. Let me check here. So for the moment, the ones that are absent are Andres Alvarez, Diana Lisette Lozada, Harold David, and that's it. Okay. Well, guys, as I was telling you tonight, we are talking about our unit 12. We continue talking about past a little bit. Yesterday, we were talking about some modals to be used when we are talking about, let's say, first talking about past situations and then talking about like hypothetical at the moment reactions. That was like the main idea of that part. Today, we continue more on the line of problems and solutions. So, of course, we're talking about the information that we have in our book. We're talking about pages 120 and 121. The first part is going to be more related to a written part. Actually, there is going to be a product. In this case, it's going to be in groups. Of course, I will let you know what you will have to do in a moment. And then on the second part, we continue talking about problem solving, but in this case, it's going to be on a video. And once again, we will rely a little bit on the speaking development. As I was telling you, the first part is going to be related to writing, but first we're going to analyze, analyze some vocabulary. The instruction says, read the words and phrases in bold and match them with their meaning. As you see, we have here some, let's say, statements, and each statement has some parts, words and phrases that are in bold. As the instruction says, the idea that you match these statements, these specific parts, with the definition that they make reference to here on your right. For example, in the case of to disappear, we are talking about go away, which is the phrase that we have, one of the phrases actually that we have on statement D. But of course, let's read first the whole information that we have before we actually start matching with the meanings on our right. Let's start reading. Daniela Lozada, could you read A and B, please?
Okay, teacher. A, until one day he realized he had a problem with his marriage. And B, the friend was empathetic and told him to trust his intuition.
Very good. Guys, did you remember the meaning of realize?
Notice something.
To notice something, to find out as well. Very good. Let's have a look at C and D. Mayra Pinson, could you read them, please?
Yes, teacher. See, Frank was happy. He didn't have a car in the world. B, but it didn't go away and he began to lose sleep over it.
That would be it. Thank you very much. Let's have a look at E and F. Ana Maria, could you read them, please?
E, today they sort the problem out. F, finally, Frank made a decision. He talked to his wife about his concerns.
That would be it. And then we have G and H. Andrea, could you read them?
At first, Frank tried to ignore the problem. H, so Frank talked it over with a friend and asked his advice.
Very good. So what? For the moment, we are not focusing on the order of events. I'm sure that you already noticed that all the statements are connected. First, the idea is to, let's say, analyze the vocabulary a little bit. So remember, we're talking about only the expressions that we have in bold. We already used to disappear. Let's put it like that, which means go away. So while you do this part, I'm gonna give you 7 minutes. Remember to use all the expressions based on the idea that we have to match them with all the meanings. Guys, do you have any questions?
No, teacher.
Perfect. So this first part is all about vocabulary. 7 minutes starting now. Well, guys, time's up. Did you finish? Did you match the phrases and words with the corresponding meaning?
Yes, teacher.
Perfect. Well, we already had the first one, to disappear. Let's say was connected, or the meaning was to go away. What about number 2? Let's read the information, like the meaning, and then tell me the phrase that it was related to. Mayra Pinzón. Mayra. Well, it seems that Mayra left for a moment, maybe. Ana Maria, number 2.
Number 2, to have nothing to worry about. Didn't have a care in the world.
That would be it, Ana Maria. Very good. What about number 3, Angelica?
To solve a problem is related with a sorted the problem out.
That's it. Very good. Let's continue with number 4, Brian. Brian.
Yes, teacher, can you repeat me, please?
Number 4.
Number 4. And to discuss a problem and trusting his intuition.
That's not number 4. Let's ask Christian for help. What do you have in number 4, Christian?
Talk it over.
Talk it over. That's the one. Very good. Daniela Fernanda, number 5.
To pretend you can see or notice something is. Wait, teacher, I wrote in this in not order.
Okay.
To pretend. Sorry. Okay. To pretend. To have not, no. Ay, no sé, teacher, no lo veo. Bueno, to pretend you can see or notice something, ignore.
Ignore, that would be it. Jennifer, what about number 6?
To decide is make a decision.
Very good, that would be John. What about number 7?
Teacher, I'm not pretty sure. Maybe sympathetic.
Read the statement, John, in number 7.
To not like something.
Sympathetic actually would be very positive to connect it. So we need something that also has like a negative connotation.
It's not like something. I'm not sure, teacher. I'm sorry. Had a problem with?
That would be the one. Let's continue with number 8. I'm going to ask Joely.
To be kind and willing to listen. I'm not sure about it, but I think that is take it over.
That was number 4, Joely. We already used it. Let's ask Luisa Fernanda Paredes for help. What do you have for number 8?
8 B. Sympathetic.
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 That's the one. Very good. Luisa Perez, what about number 9?
Things you worry about. He didn't have a care in the world.
That was used in number 2. Okay, no están poniendo atención a las respuestas. Let's ask Mayra Plata for help. What do you have in number 9?
Teacher, I have in the normal concerns.
Concern, that's the one. Very good. Natalia Perez, what about number 10?
Teacher, I select for talking over to discuss a problem.
Number 10?
Yes.
But
it's
talk it
so
over, we use it in number 4. To believe
I
in
use
your
that.
feelings. No, that's not the one. Let's ask maybe, there is a, Sarai, tell us, help us with number 10.
Trust his intuition.
Okay, trust. Or well, your intuition as well. Well, to make like the transformation, because here it says your, like to keep the alignment, you know, like with the pronouns. But that's definitely the one. Well, Sylvia, which is the one left for number 11? To be unable to sleep at night because of something.
Lose sleep over it.
That would be it. Very good. Okay, guys, it was just about vocabulary. I noticed that sometimes you rely way too much on the good, let's say, knowledge that you do have, and that's okay. And then in this type of exercises, you start like improvising. Be careful with that part. And well, I know that you know, but for example, in this type of exercises, when we eliminate one possibility, well, you write it down or you cross it or something. So then when I ask you, you don't repeat an answer that was already used. That means that maybe you are not paying attention. Just like to keep that in mind. Well, guys, I was telling you when we were doing this exercise at the beginning, that I'm sure that you had already noticed that it is actually a kind of a story, okay? And it actually is. Remember that we continue talking about problems in this, let's say, third part of Unit 12. I'm going to read the instruction for you in our book on page 120. Read about a problem that Frank had in his life. We already checked the meaning of the words. Now, officially that we know the meaning of the words, we're going to put the statements in order. The idea is that they make sense, you know? You don't have to add any extra information, or you don't eliminate any of the statements. Make sure to put them in order, so at the end, we're having a look at kind of mini story that, as you notice, is talking about some problems and a kind of solution, okay? Guys, did you have any questions about this instruction?
A la orden, queso y cuajada.
No, teacher.
A la orden. Okay, guys. I know that now the second exercise has a different analysis, but anyway, once again, we're going to have 7 minutes. Let's start. Well, guys, time's up. We were organizing our story. In this case now, like trying to make it have sense. We already analyzed the vocabulary. Now we can have a look at what the lines actually want to tell us, in terms of those general aspects. In that sense, I would like to ask Stephanie, which is the first idea?
See, Frank was happy. He didn't have a care in the world.
Absolutely, that's how it starts. Gilbert, what about number 2?
Okay, the number 2 is B. Sorry. Yeah,
Which one?
I think that is B.
Not really, Gilbert. That's
Okay.
not yet. Sorry?
Okay.
Yes, A. Brian, could you read it, please?
Until one day he realized he had a problem with his marriage.
He realized. Very good. What about number 3, Julie Lisette?
G. At first, Frank tried to ignore the problem.
Ahora sí. That would be number 3. What about number 4, Daniela Lozada?
But it didn't go away and he began to lose sleep over it.
That's the truth. What about number 5, Andrea? Andrea Vaca, just in case. Well, Andrea is not here for the moment. Mayra, what do you have? Pinson, what do you have in number 5?
I'm not sure, teacher, but I think it's H. So Fran talked it over with a friend and asked his advice.
That would be it. Let's continue with Ana Maria. What about number 6?
Number 6B, the friend was sympathetic and told him to trust his intuition.
Intuition. What about 7, Angelica?
It's F. Finally, Frank made a decision. He talked to his wife about his concerns.
Very good. So definitely the final one is E. Together, they sorted the problem out. Very good. Well, we could see like the development of the story, and that is actually what you're going to do in the next part. Let me share the screen with the whole information. You will work in groups as usual. Together in your group, you're going to choose a problem from the list to write about. Decide whether to make the story. There are 3 possibilities, guys, sorry. You can make it or funny, or sad, or awkward. Let's say like the tone of the story will be decided in your groups. We are going to continue with the same character, okay? We already know a little bit about Frank based on the story that we have just organized. So you have like an idea somehow of him. First possible problem to choose. Frank is very worried about a member of his family who is behaving strangely. Hay el micrófono abierto, pilas ahí. Second possible problem. Frank has a secret in his past and he is worried that his wife, friends will find out. Third possible problem. Frank is having problems with his colleagues or boss. And the fourth one would be like, let's say a little bit more open. Frank is very worried because, and then in your group, you can decide what the problem could be. You're going to decide the details of the problem. The idea that you write a new problem for Frank, together in your group. The idea, guys, is that first, in that mini story that you're going to create, you're going to use at least 5 phrases from exercise 1, which is exercise 1, the first exercise that we did, okay? The idea that you include some of these expressions. Remember that always intention is to make sure that these new things are now part of our vocabulary. That would be the first aspect to keep in mind. Let me go back here to the instruction. Look at this example that we have in here. Frank was happy. He didn't have a care in the world until one day he realized he had a problem with his job. The problem was he didn't trust his boss because he suspected him of stealing. Something very short and very simple. The idea, of course, is that you are going to share the story with the whole class. I'm going to send you now in a moment the link so you know in which part you're going to type the story. But before that, some aspects to consider, like in terms of general instructions. First of all, the idea that there is a short story, around 70 words. I know that because of time, I'm not going to ask you to write like 200 words or like how the story was, the first problem was originally. We would need like the whole class to create it. So we're going to create like a microcuento thing. Second, make sure that you create a title, something catchy, something appealing. Remember, based on the tone of the story, or funny, or sad, or awkward. Going back. Because it's a mini story, make sure that you include linking words, because, so, however, etc. That there is a sequence, first, second, then, next, finally. I forgot here the periods. And of course, something that it may sound obvious, but necessary like to point out, make sure to check spelling and punctuation. Write down your story to present it to the group. Make sure to underline the expressions used from part 1. So while you're typing the story, highlight the expression that you took from this part. Remember that is the first parameter to keep in mind. And the idea that you're going to include also an image to support your story. I'm not telling you to start drawing something, just like Google an image that somehow matches what you are telling in that story. So this is going to be like the slide, the title, the story, and in this part you have the section for the image. Guys, do you have any questions about the instruction? Notice that we have like 3 different parts. Probably you need like to take a screenshot, I guess. So first, questions from this part, the one that is describing the 4 possibilities that you have.
No,
Do we need just to, sorry, teacher, do we need just to pick just one?
Yeah, from these 4, choose one. Only one. That would be it. Okay. That in terms of the general aspects, don't forget to take a screenshot, of course. And the second one, well, let's say the second one. The case of the parameters, don't forget the title. Make sure that it is a short story, and the image to support that sequence of events that you're going to share. Okay. Remember that the slide that you're going to use depends on the number of your group. So until I open the rooms, you will know. So guys, in total, you're going to have 15 minutes. So make sure that you're very concise, that all of you participate providing ideas. And then when we get back, we will have a look at your mini stories. Don't complicate your lives, because if you notice that you are already like typing something of 100 words, edit it. It's a mini thing to share. Let me go back to this slide. Similar to the example that we have in here. So make it short and simple so we can use actually the amount of time properly, because remember that we still have like a second part that is going to be more related to a video. Well, guys, I'm going to keep this slide displayed. If you have any question, let me know. Ay, se me olvidó Gilbert que está 2 veces.
Yes, teacher.
Sorry, Gilbert. I'm gonna move you to number 3. Eso, Gilbert.
Okay, teacher, now this can you, okay.
Let's see. Angelica. Ay, Dios mío. I'm gonna do it in this moment, Angelica. I apologize for that. First things first. Well, guys, welcome back. Maybe you noticed that actually 5 minutes were added, so in total, you guys had 20 minutes. Anyway, I know that this is not an easy task. I'm not like diminishing all the hard work that you've been doing. Just wanted like to clarify that part, that at the end, we had 20 minutes. Well, guys, let's share your stories. I'm going to choose, oh, well, I'm already on that slide. Group number 4. So from group number 4, I'm going to ask Angelica to read the story.
Yes, teacher. Frank's secret. Frank has a dark past. For many years, his wife ignored Frank's past. Suddenly, someone sent her a letter to their house explaining that Frank was a famous thief in another city. Eventually, he's changed his identity and his residence. She started to lose sleep over for weeks until she decided to confront him. After talking over Frank admit the story, and she said, "You have to go away of the house. I don't even know you."
Okay.
And the story continues, but we
Of
have no
course.
more.
Yeah, like that is the hunger, So like you are expecting more of the information. Nice. In terms of pronunciation, Angelica, identity. And in this part, because you used a preposition after, then the verb has to go mandatory with ing after talking. And here in the quotation, you said you had to go away. You mean present or past?
Yes, teacher, sorry. My mistake.
No, but I mean, you didn't answer my question. You mean present or past?
Present.
Like you have to go away. Okay. Yeah, it's better. It makes more sense. I don't even know you. Good story, guys. Thank you very much. So that was the first story, Frank's secret. Actually, I was needing the titles for the next activity that we do after we share the stories, but two of you guys, well, two groups didn't type the story, title on time. Let's have a look at number 6. Okay, to be continued. We have Sarai, Sylvia, and Luisa. Sarai, please read your story.
Okay, teacher. Title, In the Middle of the Love Triangle. Frank was very worried because he started to develop strong feelings towards one of his colleagues, whose name is what?
Colleagues.
Whose name is Mariana, since they had been spending a lot of time together working in their projects. At first, he tried to ignore his feelings, but every day she was nice, kind, and sympathetic.
Sympathetic
with him. He was fighting these feelings, but at the end, he gave up. He made a decision to embrace his feelings and declare to Mariana. Given that he didn't know have a care in the world, he came up with the idea to propose a love triangle to his wife.
Oh my God. Thank you, Sarai, and of course, group number 6. We use expressions, and as in the previous one, to be continued. Nice. Let's move now to group number 5. You put the name. It says a surprise party. Okay, let me make one mini thing. I promise I won't take long on what I'm going to do. And okay, let me check if group number 1 already have the name. Okay. Well, I hope that everybody is paying attention to the stories, not just like trying to finish your own. For the moment, the two stories that we have just listened to have been actually pretty interesting. I'm sure that the others are just as good as the previous ones. And here in this slide. Okay. Group number 5, we have Daniela, Stephanie, and Ana Maria. Ana Maria, read the story that you created in your group.
A surprise party. Frank woke up happy yesterday because was his birthday. He expected an happy and warm day. However, he realized that anybody remembered that. His parents woke up and even didn't do the breakfast because they were late for their jobs. He gave up and thought that his parents forgot him. Despite this, he went to school and decided, don't think about that. At night, he didn't believe that what was happening because when he arrived at home, he found a big party with all family and friends.
Okay. Ladies from group number 5, he is in capital letter in some parts, unless it is starting a sentence or after a period, we use it like that, okay? And he decided, because of this this beginning, actually, he decided not to think. Not don't think, he decided not to think. That will be it. Make the adjustments, make the adjustments. Group number 5, thank you very much. Let's move to group number 3. The title says The Hidden Story. We have Judy, Lisette, Andrea, and Gilbert. Gilbert, read the story that you created with your colleagues, of course.
Okay, so the hidden story,
Hidden.
Frank has a secret. Sorry?
Hidden. You said hidden,
Okay,
hidden.
the hidden story. Frank has a secret in his past, and he is worried that his wife will find out. But one day, someone knocked on the door. His wife opened the door, and suddenly she saw a child asking for Frank. He told her that Frank was his. He told her that Frank was his dad. However, she tried to ignore the situation. For a moment, she thought that it was a joke. They have been married for 10 years. The child talked it over with her and explained how it happened. After this, Frank's wife made a decision. She left her husband because he had a second family all this time.
Wow, this looks like a soap opera story, and even like a vallenato thing. Guys, careful with the spelling. Veo mucha minúscula después de punto. In your case, it's like the opposite. Like in this part. Now this is a period. What I can see, although it's really late. And also notice that in this case, after a comma, you use the capital letter. So in terms of those aspects, but interesting, guys. Thank you very much. That was a nice one. Okay, let's go backwards. Number 2. Why do they hate Frank? We have Joely, Mayra, and Jennifer. Jennifer, please read the story.
Why do they hate Frank? Frank has a new project in his company and he's decided to achieve it. He has nothing to worry about that because he had already worked in a similar project, but some of his colleagues weren't sympathetic. In fact, one of them went away when Frank was leading a meeting. Since then, that college ignored everything related with Frank.
Okay, that is a shady one. Is a colleague. That's it. Very good. Pretty straight to the point. And guys, group number 1, the final story. Some adjustments are still being made. It says Frank's dark past. Daniela, only yours?
No, teacher, John
No,
Carrero, Brian
Natalie.
Cordero, and
and-
Natalie.
And why didn't you write your names?
Because we stay so excited with the history and we can type in that.
Okay.
We forgot it.
Well played, of course. Let me then have a look at the list here in the thing that Zoom has. So it's Daniela, Brian, John, and Natalie. Okay, Daniela, read the story, just like up to this point what you created.
Okay, Frank's dark past. Frank was happy because his secret kept always hidden and he didn't have a care in the world. Until one day people start to suspect. And he couldn't continue ignoring his past. He had another family with 3 kids and 1 dog called Messi. So he decided to talk with his friend, who was the only person that knew the truth. His friend made a decision and told everything to Frank's wife because he was in love with her. Finally, she decided to leave Frank and marry his friend.
Okay, another soap opera. She decided to leave because after 2 we can't make transformations to the verbs. Very good, guys. So yeah, that was it. Guys, don't forget to highlight the expressions from part 1. Group number 1 did it, number 2 as well. Number 3, you are missing that part. Also number 4, number 5, and number 6. Don't forget to highlight them. That is basically the thing to do. Guys, interesting stories, really good creativity. Now, like to wrap this part up, I would like to know, of course, like any voting thing, we're gonna make it, let's say anonymous. Whose story do you like best? Remember the titles of the story. First, Frank's dark past. The second, why do they hate Frank? The third, the hidden story. 4, Frank's secret. 5, a surprise party. And 6, in the middle of a love triangle. So guys, let's vote to decide which story do you like the best. Let's see. I want to give you just like a couple of minutes. Eight votes. Come on, now everybody's voting for their own story. Okay. Let's use percentages because it looks more elegant. The winner is, for the moment, because we have 17 votes, story number 6, in middle of a love triangle. In second place, we have Frank's secret. And in third place, we have the hidden story. Okay, guys. I'd like to wrap up this activity in particular, talking about the stories. Please don't forget to highlight, the parts that are being used, well, the phrases and the words from the first part, which was one of the instructions that we had from the beginning of the activity in particular, okay? Well, my
Teacher, sorry, can you
PC.
please send it again, the link of the activity, please?
Okay,
The
sure.
another,
This one?
thank you. The stories activity, teacher. Is to put our name,
The
our
drive, teacher.
Okay, okay, I know what you mean. Let me look it up. Thank you,
Thank you.
Judy. It was Judy, actually. Very good, guys. Well, in this part, in this activity, we were talking about problems, you know, and as I was telling you at the beginning of the session, one part was related to writing. In this final part, we will be focusing a little bit on speaking. We're going to watch a video. The title of the video says, why do we make irrational decisions? Somehow connected on how, let's say, or the process actually that we take when we want to tackle a problem or trying to find the solution of a situation. Let's say that I divided the instructions into different parts so we can go like step by step. I'm going to share the video with you. I'm not going to send you the link, okay? We're gonna watch it twice. The idea that you take notes, and among the different notes and the different information that you collect from the video, the idea that you pay special attention to these 4 concepts that you're going to see on the video. Rational economic theory, conjunction fallacy, heuristics, and loss aversion. Probably from other sources, you have already read about any of these aspects. I'm sure that you have like an idea of it or at least of some of them. If you don't worry. Precisely that's the idea of the video, to talk about these aspects or these, let's say, concepts precisely on the line on talking about how we make, in this case in particular, irrational decisions. Okay, so first we're going to watch the video and take some notes and pay special attention to these 4 concepts, okay? Did you have any questions about this first part of the instructions?
No, teacher,
questions?
thank
No,
you.
teacher.
Okay, let me make sure that the video is working well. So probably can skip any ad. And give me a second and then we begin. Share sent. Share screen. Let's start.
Let's say you're on a game show. You've already earned $1,000 in the first round when you land on the bonus space. Now you have a choice. You can either take a $500 bonus, guaranteed, or you can flip a coin. If it's heads, you win a $1,000 bonus. If it's tails, you get no bonus at all. In the second round, you've earned $2,000 when you land on the penalty space. Now you have another choice. You can either take a $500 loss or try your luck at the coin flip. If it's heads, you lose nothing. But if it's tails, you lose $1,000 instead. If you're like most people, you probably chose to take the guaranteed bonus in the first round and flip the coin in the second round. But if you think about it, this makes no sense. The odds and outcomes in both rounds are exactly the same. So why does the second round seem much scarier? The answer lies in a phenomenon known as loss aversion. Under rational economic theory, our decisions should follow a simple mathematical equation that weighs the level of risk against the amount at stake. But studies have found that for many people, the negative psychological impact we feel from losing something is about twice as strong as the positive impact of gaining the same thing. Loss aversion is one cognitive bias that arises from heuristics, problem-solving approaches based on previous experience and intuition, rather than careful analysis. And these mental shortcuts can lead to irrational decisions, not like falling in love or bungee jumping off a cliff, but logical fallacies that can easily be proven wrong. Situations involving probability are notoriously bad for applying heuristics. For instance, say you were to roll a die with 4 green faces and 2 red faces 20 times. You can choose one of the following sequences of roles, and if it shows up, you'll win $25. Which would you pick? In one study, 65% of the participants, who were all college students, chose sequence B, even though A is shorter and contained within B. In other words, more likely. This is what's called a conjunction fallacy. Here, we expect to see more green roles, so our brains can trick us in picking the less likely option. Heuristics are also terrible at dealing with numbers in general. In one example, students were split into two groups. The first group was asked whether Mahatma Gandhi died before or after age 9, while the second was asked whether he died before or after age 140. Both numbers were obviously way off. But when the students were then asked to guess the actual age at which he died, the first group's answers averaged to 50, while the second group's averaged to 67. Even though the clearly wrong information in the initial questions should have been irrelevant, it still affected the students' estimates. This is an example of the anchoring effect, and it's often used in marketing and negotiations to raise the prices that people are willing to pay. So, if heuristics lead to all these wrong decisions, why do we even have them? Well, because they can be quite effective. For most of human history, survival depended on making quick decisions with limited information. When there's no time to logically analyze all the possibilities, heuristics can sometimes save our lives. But today's environment requires far more complex decision-making, and these decisions are more biased by unconscious factors than we think, affecting everything from health and education to finance and criminal justice. We can't just shut off our brains' heuristics, but we can learn to be aware of them. When you come to a situation involving numbers, probability, or multiple details, pause for a second and consider that the intuitive answer might not be the right one after all.
Let's watch it the second time. Don't forget the concepts. And then we share.
Let's say you're on a game show. You've already earned $1,000 in the first round when you land on the bonus space. Now you have a choice. You can either take a $500 bonus, guaranteed, or you can flip a coin. If it's heads, you win a $1,000 bonus. If it's tails, you get no bonus at all. In the second round, you've earned $2,000 when you land on the penalty space. Now you have another choice. You can either take a $500 loss or try your luck at the coin flip. If it's heads, you lose nothing. But if it's tails, you lose $1,000 instead. If you're like most people, you probably chose to take the guaranteed bonus in the first round and flip the coin in the second round. But if you think about it, this makes no sense. The odds and outcomes in both rounds are exactly the same. So why does the second round seem much scarier? The answer lies in a phenomenon known as loss aversion. Under rational economic theory, our decisions should follow a simple mathematical equation that weighs the level of risk against the amount at stake. But studies have found that for many people, the negative psychological impact we feel from losing something is about twice as strong as the positive impact of gaining the same thing. Loss aversion is one cognitive bias that arises from heuristics, problem-solving approaches based on previous experience and intuition, rather than careful analysis. And these mental shortcuts can lead to irrational decisions, not like falling in love or bungee jumping off a cliff, but logical fallacies that can easily be proven wrong. Situations involving probability are notoriously bad for applying heuristics. For instance, say you were to roll a die with 4 green faces and 2 red faces 20 times. You can choose one of the following sequences of rolls, and if it shows up, you'll win $25. Which would you pick? In one study, 65% of the participants, who were all college students, chose sequence B, even though A is shorter and contained within B. In other words, more likely. This is what's called a conjunction fallacy. Here, we expect to see more green rolls, so our brains can trick us into picking the less likely option. Heuristics are also terrible at dealing with numbers in general. In one example, students were split into two groups. The first group was asked whether Mahatma Gandhi died before or after age 9, while the second was asked whether he died before or after age 140. Both numbers were obviously way off. But when the students were then asked to guess the actual age at which he died, the first group's answers averaged to 50, while the second group's averaged to 67. Even though the clearly wrong information in the initial questions should have been irrelevant, it still affected the students' estimates. This is an example of the anchoring effect, and it's often used in marketing and negotiations to raise the prices that people are willing to pay. So, if heuristics lead to all these wrong decisions, why do we even have them? Well, because they can be quite effective. For most of human history, survival depended on making quick decisions with limited information. When there's no time to logically analyze all the possibilities, heuristics can sometimes save our lives. But today's environment requires far more complex decision-making, and these decisions are more biased by unconscious factors than we think, affecting everything from health and education to finance and criminal justice. We can't just shut off our brains' heuristics, but we can learn to be aware of them. When you come to a situation involving numbers, probability, or multiple details, pause for a second and consider that the intuitive answer might not be the right one after all.
Okay. Let's go back to the slide. Well, and this will be the final part, we will be sent to the final section. I dare to say that probably we will have only the time like to get the ideas together and we will continue on Monday. But anyway, I want you to at least come up with the general conclusion of these two questions that we have in here. The question says, do heuristics always lead to a wrong choice? The video, was like pointing out certain aspects in this part. And number two, this second question is a little bit more critical in terms of the level. I mean, when I say critical, it's because it's not literal, not because it is actually dramatic or something like that. It says, heuristics can be advantages from an evolutionary perspective. Can you think of a scenario in which being guided by an intuitive decision is actually better than a careful analysis of the situation? That is like the second question. The first one, as I told you, is a little bit more related to the information of the video. The second one is more like a kind of analysis. So guys, as I was telling you, I know that we won't have time tonight to share your perspectives, but at least I'm gonna send you to the breakout rooms for you like to have the first ideas, like the brainstorming, so we can continue with this part on Monday. So I'm gonna give you 10 minutes. We get back and then we would finish the session, okay? Guys, do you have any question?
Yes, can you please share the link of the video?
Sure, I have it here. Okay, now where do you? There it is. Let me go back so I can share with you. Okay. Final part, remember just to collect the most important ideas. We will actually have our sharing moment on Monday.
Teacher?
Tell me.
I written something about the topics about the should, could, would have.
And you were asking me about the material, right, Angelica? I
Yeah.
uploaded it. in the previous activity that you were doing. I already did. Thank you for reminding me.
Okay, thank you too, teacher.
Okay. Ana María Jennifer Jimena.
Es que le estaba tomando pantallazo. Qué pena.
Okay, no thanks. No problem.
Teacher, I see this isn't the same room.
Yes, it's the
I
same.
lose my connection for a
Ah,
moment.
okay. Okay, don't worry, Jennifer. Yeah, it's the same from the previous activity. Well, guys, welcome back. Basically, just to wrap up the session, remember that on Monday is going to be, let's say, like our final class in terms of, let's say, content. So we will have a review and we will connect with this activity. So on Monday, I want to give you like a few minutes, like to, let's say, confirm or solidify the idea, and then you are going to share your opinion. Don't forget the group that you were like working with. Anyway, I took some pictures. And also on Monday, I'm going to, let's say, officially send you the email telling you that we will have the speaking on Tuesday. And on Monday, I'm going to let you know also like the parameters of the speaking, especially for the new 2 students that we have in here. Guys, as usual, thank you very much. Have a good weekend and see you on Monday. Bye-bye.
Have a good one,
Okay,
teacher. Bye bye.
teacher, bye.
Bye,
Thank you,
teacher.
everyone.
Bye, teacher.
Be safe.